welcome to LIFT, the LCI Group Fireside series. LIFT stands for Learning, Innovation, Future and Transitions. 4 words that define how global education evolves and transforms lives. I'm your host, Suneetha Qureshi, Global Director, University Engagement at LCI Group. Through this series, we'll explore ideas shaping international education, from rethinking recruitment to redefining collaboration, and most importantly, what it means for all of us. Today, I'm delighted to be joined by Chitra Saini, Director of Recruitment for Southeast Asia at Southern Utah University, a leader whose work reflects the values of student-first education and meaningful partnerships. Chitra, welcome to LIFT.
Thank you, Suneetha. This is such an honor for me to be part of such a great initiative, and basically in year 2025, because this is something we actually need, collaboration and to talk out about the industry trends. Thank you.
Right. So let us begin with your journey. And so what first drew you into international education, and along with that, what keeps you inspired today?
Well, becoming a part of this industry was not the choice. It was accidental. Once I was a prospective student. That's how my journey started. I met a number of counselors, and then I was like, okay, I should give it a try. I should work some time, and then I might be figuring out what I want, where I want to study. But that never happened. I never went out for my higher education, and I kind of start liking the industry. I fall in love with my role. And what kept me in the industry even after a decade was the impact we could have on someone's life. That's one. And another, the opportunity to learn. I believe this is a great industry. You can impact student life. And also you keep on learning year after year. So I'm a business student, right? I did my bachelor's in business, but now I know things about AI. I know about healthcare. So this is what kept me in the industry, the impact and the constant learning.
Wonderful. So what drew you working with students and institutions globally? I see that you have, your recruitment sector is very different from normally what we see. Everybody is very much on South Asia. You're moving towards Southeast Asia. So what drew you into, working into these territories?
I would say again, learning. So I start my role as a counselor at the agency side, and then I met you. Many people know about this story. I met you in 2015, we met, and I still remember our discussion. And that's where I decided to move from the agency side to the recruitment side, because you don't know, but you had a really good impact on me that time. And I was not aware that one day I will be working with you. We did indirectly, but yeah, I'm glad we did. So after recruiting in India, actually South Asia, I start feeling like something is missing. And it took me some time to wrap up my mind around what is missing. I start feeling like I'm meeting the students, I'm hearing the same kind of questions, and I wanted to have more exposure. And that's how my journey, I would say, the quest start, and it landed up me in Turkey, then CIS countries, and then finally the Southeast Asia. So that's how it happened, and I'm glad I took that leap of faith. Because initially I was a little bit afraid. What if I fail? What if I will not be able to help students from these, demographics? But then I realized students are students. They have questions. So students from Turkey, they are having some different kind of interest, queries. Students from Southeast Asia, they have different needs, different interest. But eventually, students anywhere in the world, they need the right kind of guidance. So I'm happy I was able to do that, and I took this step. So that's how this works, and I'm now recruiting students from Southeast Asia and Turkey.
You've had a rich journey. So let's come to the L in lift learning. Uh, what has been your most important lesson working with international students?
I believe they are the most brave people in the world I have ever seen. And you would agree with me because most of them are just teenagers when they start their journey. Some of them have idea what they want from their life. Some just came clueless and they put whole trust into the counselor who met them at initial level, then the recruiters, and then the academic advisor at their institutions. So they are really brave. They are ready to face any challenge. So that's one thing. And another lesson I feel like mental health for the student and for every person into the higher ed industry. And I want to emphasize is on this. It starts with the counselors, the agencies, the institutions, the recruiters. And I want to focus on this because this is very important now. If the counselor who is recruiting the student, who is guiding the student, be it at the agency side, at an international school, or a recruiter, if they are not happy and they are not mentally in right state of mind, they will not be able to guide student accurately. Might be these people will give you numbers, revenue for 1 or 2 intakes, but trust me, these are not the right recruitment, not the right fit. And that's how you need to work a lot on retention. So one lesson, and I believe we actually need to talk about it. Please focus on the mental health during such difficult times where the geopolitics, law, and the policies are changing every day. So one lesson I would say, the institution, the agency, please focus on your employees' mental health.
That's true. I mean, it's an era where I think people have been open enough to talk about mental health. And earlier, we've known that people never spoke about it, and we wouldn't figure out, hey, what's happening. But there are a lot of helplines available, and I think a lot of counselors, coach you on it. So let's look at the I in innovation. So what changes or innovations excite you most in this sector? I mean, we see continuous changes, whether they are policies or, there are a lot of changes that keep coming. So what is it that excites you the most?
Innovation for me, the things which are changing within the industry, I would say like the collaborations. Institutions are more focusing on the industrial collaboration, setting up really good labs to give student hand-on experience, and these students are graduating job-ready skills. So these are like something I really like. And then one thing I really like now, the institutions and agencies, they start using AI. Human touch, I strongly advocate for human interaction, but a little bit AI integrated in the whole process, make things smooth. And how, the things are changing, because I started in 2010 into the industry. So students used to go to the agent office, meet them, but it is becoming very difficult. And now you can just schedule meetings, right? So I really like it. And how the institutions are coming up with monthly or maybe weekly interaction session webinars to clear all the questions. That one thing. Another for me is innovation is when the institutions are upgrading their programs time to time. So this is not one fixed program. If something is coming up into the industry, which is the need of the hour. And one thing I want to give an example. During COVID, we all understand the value of supply chain. And then these institutions come, like institution in Canada, US, Europe, even in Asia, they focus on this program. They build the program, and not just the program which prepares us for such situation in future. So now I believe this is innovative, where we find a problem, we accept it, and then we deliver a program where students learn to solve these problems.
That's right. Yes, exciting, and AI is everywhere, and I think we must make the best use of AI. All right. So coming to the future, the F in the Lift series, F for future. What do you think is the future of international education? I wouldn't say the next 5 to 10 years, but maybe in the next 2 to 3 years, because this space is continuously evolving. So what do you think it probably is the future in the next 2 to 3 years?
So we all know that 2024, 2025 was a roller coaster. And same going to happen with 2026. But the best part is that agents and institutions, and even the international schools, they are trying to figure out the solutions. And now you might have noticed earlier it was Big Four, right? Big Four destination. But I would say now it is Big 14 or maybe Big 20. Students start looking at the different countries as well. I just want to, focus on one thing. That's okay. You are looking at a new destination, but ask the right questions. You should be very cautious when you are picking up destination, because it's not about just a destination where you can go or you can get the visa. But I would say you have to live there, the language, the climate and everything. So next 2-3 years will be, eye-opening for the institutions, agencies and the students. Test and trials as well. But for me, I believe what is going to work and what next 5 years will be, or the next decade will be dedicated to the year of collaboration. And it's going to change the entire industry, and the institutions who will be ready to evolve will be there. Because now if you meet students, they don't talk much about only the location or the ranking. They start actually asking the right question. And I'm so happy that as a part of this industry, we came along a really long way. Like the student and the parents are asking right questions. Okay, what are the job opportunities? I'm going to learn some skills, transferable skills. Is there any lab or a project in it? What is the community look like? So I really like it. So next 2-3 years will be eye-opening, year of change into the industry, and the decade will be, about collaboration, not collaboration about the institutions only. Collaboration among international schools to institutions, collaboration between agents and the institutions. A lot of talk, a lot of information sharing is required here, what students want and what institution can help. And then the collaboration on the government level. I feel like there will be a lot of, transnational education center where students will get not only a degree, but they will get a little exposure like the actual university, the 2+2, and then the hybrid learning. Some courses online, some on campus. So yeah, 2 to 3 years, next 2 to 3 years will be, it's the time to change and then evolve. And then the whole decade will be for the collaboration and making changes and deliver to students.
Wow. So the future is bright and shiny.
It is.
It is. So along with all the positive things, what do you think would be a threat that institutions should prepare themselves for?
Oh my God, this is something we people actually need to talk a lot about it. I talk about the mental health. That's first thing. Because, from last 2 years, I'm meeting people and I'm hearing they are too stressed about the numbers. The numbers are not coming in. Then the retention thing, that's one thing. And I always want to say, so the grass cannot be green forever. There are, we have seasons. You have fall, then you have spring. Yeah. These last 2 years, it's tough for the industry. I'm not going to say that 2026 is brighter. I'm very much clear 2026, 2027 will test us. But what I want to focus, everyone in the industry need to work on our mental health. If we are not, really happy and not physically and mentally fit, I'm putting a physically because mental health have an impact on your physical health. So if you are not mentally fit, then you might produce number. If you run after numbers, trust me, you will never be getting those numbers. We need to accept things are changing. this industry is evolving, and something when it evolved, it hit the rock bottom. And then it goes up, and that's going to work here. So the one of the threat is we need to accept things are getting tougher. Another thing I would say, we need to accept that current geopolitical situation, every day there are new rules, every day. So one of the threat is not keeping yourself updated. So my day start with open my phone, just read some of the authentic news sources, right? And then plan my day ahead. Okay, I don't want to call or send an email without checking if the rules haven't changed. I don't want to walk on the wrong way. So that's what you need to keep yourself very updated, find the right resources, talk to your connection into the industry. Talking is very important. And then figuring out institutions has to, consider these things very seriously, because they have to make changes according to that. They might have to change their entire strategy of recruiting students. They might have to go on hybrid mode for certain programs. We know that it is happening, that students going their home and then they are not able to come back. So what you are going to do? How you are going to support these students? So first thing, mental health. Second thing, keep yourself very updated. And third thing, support your students in every way, because they are into transition throughout the time, from teen to adulthood, from their home to international institutions. Then education system is very different. And then from a student, they will be transitioned into the professional. So support your student, give them the space, the platform where they can come and talk to you about their problems and give you, okay, we can do that, and you integrate all those things. Because we are doing it at SUU, to be very frank, and it is helping out. The student satisfaction rate is way more important than any other ranking. That I would say. And if you have happy student population, trust me, they are your marketing. And I have seen that. I have seen that in other, not only with SUU, with my first institution. The student came with the student word of mouth. So yeah, these are some of the threats you need to work on. There might be more, but these are the 3 I want to focus on.
Awesome. So that brings us to the final element of LIFT, transitions. And you already talked a bit of transitions. What has been your biggest shift in your career, if I were to ask,
We already talked about it. First thing when I met you. So after meeting you, I decided to move from the agency side to the recruitment side, where I can represent an institution and guide students more about. So that was first shift in my career. And the second transition was when I decided I want to step out of South Asia recruitment. So these are 2 things, and I'm very glad that I got the opportunity. I met the right kind of people. I am forever grateful, and that's because of those people I meet. I believe meeting right people at right time, and then I never hesitate to, ask for help or guidance. You know yourself, I sometimes message you that, hey, I have a query or I want to discuss something. So, and I always did do that, and I'm very open if someone message me like that. So I feel like the transition I had, first meeting you in 2015, and then 2021 when I decided to step away from South Asia market, when I was doing good. Yeah, so these 2. So these are a really big transition for me, and I'm glad I met the right kind of people. Grateful for the connections and the guidance I got from some amazing people across my path.
You've come a long way. So now you also mentioned about the students going through a lot of transitions, right? I mean, they come in at a very young age, and by the time they finish their studies, they're almost ready to step into the professional circuit. So, how can institutions better support students during these transitions?
Okay, so when I talk about it, I believe I have different perspective because I'm very attached to my students. And I'm talking about the student which I recruited even in 2010. I'm still in touch with them. I really love to know about their struggle, their story, and it helped me, to improve as a person and a professional. So whenever I recruit a student, send them, I'm talking about when I was a counselor, I always ask them, hey, did you like the institution? Do you like your classes? How it is working? What kind of friends you are having? What is the city look like? What is community? And that helped me to change a lot and help more students. So, and I would say I have lived multiple lives with them. So it is like a student live international student life once, but I have lived that multiple times, because whenever students go, I always try to contact with them and stay in touch. And when I'm saying the transition is constant, sometimes I feel like I'm really old now, because the student I recruited, those cute teenagers, when they were like, oh, how I'm going to do that? I don't know anybody there, right? First time when you meet them, then they got the visa, they share their struggle when they find the first part-time job, or when they score that perfect 4 GPA, or they get a scholarship, or they represent their country or something, they share information with you. So you see that transition from a teenager to a responsible international student, then stepping into the part-time job, right? And then, from teenager to adulthood, and then to the professional life. And, it hit me a lot because, oh my God, so that recently one of my students got married, and I was feeling like, oh my God, I'm very old, because she was 17 when she went to Canada. She's a permanent resident now. She's working for government of Alberta. She got married. Some of my students, they are working on really high profile. They set up their businesses. They're becoming parents. So yeah, the transition is keep happening. So coming to your another question, how institution can help? So I always say pre-departure is just a tip what you can offer. It's a must thing, but it's not all you can offer. It starts with the pre-departure, where you tell student everything what they need to prepare when they are coming from their home country to a new country, right? Then they will be leaving their family and friend here, and then they will be making friends there who will eventually become their family, right? So that is first transition. But then the orientation is very important, and that was my very favorite thing when I was a counselor, not a recruiter, to tell students, don't miss your orientation. You get to know about your do and don'ts as an international student. So that's the second step. But then the academic advisor at campus to guide student, then the mental health and wellness, that's another thing. And something we do at SUU, and I really like it, and one of the reason I joined SUU was they have something very special, the engagement. If you look at it, the students are highly engaged on campus. They support, the senior students support the new students, and they are very happy. So how SU is doing it, we have something very different. And I'm really glad that we are able to do that. We call it engagement and involvement team. So their work is to, engage international students. That's how, break the ice between the students. It's not very easy so it's seem easy for us because we are adult, right? We are professional to go and talk to a new person. But that might not be the case with these teenagers. Some might be shy. So we need to understand culture shock is important. Very important topic to talk about. And how you are going to help student when you involve them, when you engage them. So a lot of things need to be done, like provide them with the resume writing workshop. It's a small thing, right? Help them to engage within the campus, the career center, and most of the institutions are having such things. I really like about this that the institutions are not only focusing on the classes, they are doing things beyond the classes. They are doing the job fair where student can go and meet the employers and learn what are the skills required. So the support is required throughout those 4 year or 2 year of their master degree. We need to understand they are in constant transition from one thing to another. And if you think like, okay, we are providing enough, you are wrong. You are wrong. You don't know. Sometimes students are struggling, but they will never come to you. And what came into the picture? The peer mentors. When you have these students and you give them the role of peer mentors, maybe the student is shy to go to the academic advisor or the mental health, right? Because, we are talking about it, but then are we sure every country focus on those things? Every family talk about these things. So might be some students are highly introvert. How you are going to support them? They will never come to you. They will never come to you. You have to reach them out. And how you are going to do that? With different things. Maybe some event on campus, sports, some competitions, party, events, or maybe some senior students who are student worker. So there is a lot to done, and every institutions, and we are also learning, and just provide student a platform or a space where they feel welcome to go and talk. So that's what I feel is helpful for student, and it actually helps the institutions, because that's how you don't have to work on retention.
That's right. That support system is very important.
I believe, the right recruitment is very important.
Yeah.
Then you have the right kind of student, but then every support is required. You cannot stop on one thing. Okay, I recruit the right kind of student. That's okay. They know about everything, because these are kids. They need support. And we need to understand every country, every family, every student is different. We cannot compare two students. So I'm glad that institutions are doing everything to support their students.
Right. So before we wrap up, let's do a rapid fire. The first thing that comes into your mind, a book or a podcast or an article that you recommend?
So for international student, I always told them, please, it sound, very fancy, but it actually helped, because some of my students said, yeah, it helped. They need to have a discipline, right? So I tell them, please take one book with you, Atomic Habits. It helped them to be disciplined and live their life as a student in a better way. Because when you have discipline in your life, it's easier as an international student. And for me, what I really like, there was this book. It was gifted to me by some person. I don't remember the name. I'm sorry, I'm bad. The book name is The Grit. It's from the Angela Duckworth, I believe. And the book is about luck and talent. It's very easy to beat with the passion and the hard work. You just need to be, very regular with your efforts every day, day after day, day after day. And that's how you can beat the luck and the talent, because then you will be doing everything every day. So hard work and passion.
One piece of advice for a student today?
It's very small and very important. Ask for help, ask many questions, even a silly one. Ask for every silly question you have in your mind. Ask about, okay, what is the program all about? What are the courses? Can I get the internship? Is there any scholarship? What is the community look like? Is it friendly? how many students you have, international student, you have, ask as many questions you can ask. Please do that. That's one thing. And don't stop here. Then when you are on campus, ask everything. Hey, is there any part-time job? Okay, yes. How can I apply? How can I improve my skills? Ask many questions you can. Trust me, no one is going to judge you. There are people to help you out. You just need to ask. So, yes, ask the queries. Don't hesitate. That is your right. And that will help you to make best of your international student life. Trust me.
Okay. And one myth about international education that you'd like to burst?
There are many.
Which one myth?
Yeah, I'm going to focus on the one I really want to talk about it. So, over the year, one thing I heard from the people, international education, good quality of international education is really expensive, right? People do talk about it. Let me tell you very in simple words. You need to budget it very wisely. You need to look at what are your finances, what is your budget, and what you can fit into it. First thing, the budget. When you have your budget, figure out what you want to achieve in your life. What type of career you are looking at, what is your passion, and then plan backwards. If you think I want to be a engineer, maybe the construction engineer, and then you start looking at the programs. No. Just figure out your budget first. Then you want to figure out where you want to be, which role. Just note the program. And then you plan after your budget and the program. Then you look at the institutions. Don't go for the big destinations, big cities. No, I'm not talking about countries, big cities. Then try to figure out, because the education you are going to get in a university or an institution in a small town is having the same value if you are going to a bigger city. But let me give you the difference. You will be saving a lot of money on your living expenses, and it can, cut down the cost by 30 to 40%. In some cases 50 as well, but let's say 30-40%. So that's why budget is important, and that's why I'm saying this is a big myth. Another thing, then the smaller town or the smaller cities, it's very easy for you to find part-time jobs if that country allows. If you say no, it is not, it is, because there is not really big competition. There are less jobs in small city, I would agree, but you need to understand the competition is less. So there are not 400 people after one job. That is second thing. Another thing I just want to tell you, these institutions have lower tuition fees than the institution in the bigger cities. That's another factor which reduce your expenses. And then there are a lot of scholarships. Please don't give up. Don't feel like, international education is very expensive, I cannot afford it. Figure out a budget and then do the planning wisely. Find the town or the city where the living expenses are low. Find an institution which fit into your budget. And when I say budget, don't look at the tuition only. Look at other things. Tuition, other fees, then the accommodation on campus and off campus, both, and compare. And please look at other thing which is really important, which students skip. Travel cost. You could save a lot on the travel cost, trust me, but when I'm saying you. And then the scholarships. That's how you find institution in your budget. So international education is not very expensive. You have to look beyond top 4-5 destination. Here I'm talking about the countries. There are other countries offering good education as well. And you don't have to go out of Asia, to be very frank. If you cannot afford, there are really good options in Asia as well. Look at Malaysia. That is one of my favorite example when I give to the students. Budgeting is very important. So the biggest myth I would say is that international education is very expensive. Not everyone can afford it. I'm not saying that everyone can afford it, but you need to plan wisely. If you plan wisely, trust me, you can cut down the cost by 50 to 60%. Because if you look at the institution faces, it's really a big difference in the 2 institution or the 10 institution tuition. You need to find out the right institution where you can afford the tuition, and please don't plan with 1 year scholarship. You feel like, okay, 1 year I have the funds. No, you need to plan for all 4 years or those 2 years if you are going for masters. So budgeting is the most important thing when it comes to international education. That's the only thing I want to talk about. The myth most of the people are having about international education.
That's so thoughtful, Chitra, and I think many of us in the sector will relate. And thank you so much for sharing your insights. We're coming to the end of today's session. So to everyone watching, thank you so much for joining us. Stay tuned for more conversations in the Lift Fireside series, where we'll continue to explore learning, innovation, and the future transitions shaping international education. Thank you, Chitra, for being here with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Suneetha, and a big thanks to LCI Group for such a great initiative.